Hello, 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 my Marshall Flanders. Hi, how is everybody? I hope everyone is doing well. Don't mind my linty sweater. I washed it with towels by accident. So it's all good. C'est la vie. Oula, oui, oui. All right, so the theme speaks about self disappointment, and it can be avoided by setting reasonable self expectations. Now, you can be a mother who feels disappointed in herself because she's not being the mother she thought she could be or that she knows she can be. Or you can be a father who's disappointed in his parenting, an elderly or older person who just feels bad because they're not doing what they used to or what they thought they would be doing at this age. You can be a cosmetologist who's trying to go for a platinum blonde and you reach an ashy blonde. You know, there's so many, a student who is just disappointed in themselves because they're not reaching the grades they thought they would be, or they haven't gotten the degree they thought they would have. A lot of times disappointment comes from expectation. Now, I remember hearing a phrase, and it said, if you don't expect, you can't be disappointed. And that is true. And you can use that or apply that to certain situations. When it comes to people that are exterior of you. But when it comes to yourself, you have to have expectations. Okay? Outside, okay, not so much. But for yourself, yes, you have to have expectations. Now, if you set expectations that are beyond your actual ability or circumstances, then that's not being reasonable. And what that's going to create is disappointment. Okay? Self disappointment. And self disappointment is hard. It's a horrible point. Just like a regular toxin numbs you or paralyzes you and doesn't allow you to do what you can and what you want to do. So, how can we manage self disappointment, minimize it, or even eliminate it? There's two things that I'm going to mention. All right. So the first thing is you have to cultivate a realistic view of your circumstances. Okay. You have to be realistic. And you guys know I always say that. But in this case, you have to have a realistic view of your circumstances. Okay. What is your financial situation? Present financial situation? What is your present physical situation? What is your present psychological situation? What is your present situation as far as resources? And resources are not just inanimate objects, they are also people, family members, friends, support groups, government agencies. What are your resources? Okay. And so I think to a certain degree, to be able to be realistic and recognize your circumstances, you do have to take a moment, step back. You know, in my case, I do pray. So I take a moment, I step back, I pray for wisdom, I pray for mental peace, and I pray for perspicacity and help to be realistic. You know, so other people may meditate to have a relaxed state. So you do what you have to do, but do that and be realistic. And you have to realize what are your circumstances. Secondly, you have to have balanced expectations. So now, according to what your realistic circumstances are, wait, it's kind of blurry. Okay. According to what your realistic circumstances are, then that is what you will use to set a balanced expectation of yourself. Okay? So now you're a mom, but you're a mom of five. You may have, or a mom of four, or a mom of one, whatever the circumstance may be, and you don't necessarily have help. Okay? So what expectations can you set? I can't tell you what expectations you can set. I'm legitimately asking you. You know, what expectations can you set for yourself that are reasonable? Okay? And work hard to achieve those expectations. All right? Obviously, the expectation is to um, nourish and nurture. So do that. Hi, my love. How are you? Mwah! I love you, my eating up with Denise. Yo, I each time I see your videos, I be wanting to order some food. And I'm gonna be real with you. I do order food and I be eating like tacos. I saw you when you had the taco rack. What did I do? I ordered two tacos de chicharrón, two tacos de chorizo, and I ordered pupusa. Okay? So yes, I love I tell you. But we're talking about self-disappointment and how to avoid self-disappointment by setting up reasonable, yes, absolutely delicious, reasonable self expectations. So we spoke about how the first thing was to cultivate a realistic view of what your circumstances are, and trampolining off of that, knowing what your realistic circumstances are, then you are able to set up a balanced expectation of yourself. And so, for example, I'll speak from my point of view. I want a client comes to me and says that they want to be a platinum blonde. Now, I have been able to have a person be a snow white blonde in one visit in under 6 hours. Okay? But the reason for that was because A, the person had virgin hair. They didn't have any French ancestry, so I didn't have to worry about the red level. It did go to orange, then yellow, then pale yellow. So I was able to do that. But my circumstances were good because I had an excellent lightener, excellent developer, excellent candidate for it. I've had people who have come to me and want to be a platinum blonde, but I have to know what the circumstances are. You know, what is the hair history? The person had dark dye on it. Okay, so that's the circumstance. I may not be able to bring you to that platinum today, but I can bring you to a wonderful level 10 ash blonde and tone you to make you look like a platinum. And the next time you come, I'll bring you to the platinum. You know, so I wasn't disappointed. The client wasn't disappointed. Setting up reasonable expectations. Now, does that mean that setting up reasonable expectations is equal to limitations? Absolutely not. Reasonable expectations and limitations, or limiting yourself, are two different things. Okay? When you set yourself a reasonable expectation, it's not a limitation. It's recognizing where you're at, what you can reach, and it's balanced. Now, you're not going to stay here forever, because part of reaching this goal is so that then you can improve your circumstances so that you can move on to the next level and the next level and the next level. And guess what? If you're not disappointing yourself, you that turns into self-motivation. So instead of self-disappointing, you're self-motivating. Do you get it? And that's how come when I said in the beginning, okay, exterior of you, expect nothing, you'll be disappointed by nothing. But as far as it comes to you, you have to set up reasonable expectations so that way you can become a self-motivated person. Okay. The reality is this, I had written this down. We may have to make adjustments and modifications. So I'll give an example. All right. For example, let's say that you are a person who is 75 years old and you used to be able to do a lot of things, but because of age and health and maybe financial situation, you're not able to do as much as you used to. You're not able to give as much as you used to. Okay, so now what you have to do is you have to make an adjustment of your expectation of what you will be able to contribute. You have to make an adjustment or a modification. Now, once you do that, guess what? You're no longer going to be feeling like you're not doing anything. You're no longer going to feel like you're a disappointment. You're going to actually feel that you are doing the best you can with what you have. Okay? And what's that going to do? That's going to motivate you. It's going to make you feel better about yourself. And once you're feeling better about yourself, guess what? That type of energy is what you are putting out there. That is what you're giving to the people around you. But the important thing is you don't want to have self-disappointment. You want to have self-motivation. Get it? All right. So just to wrap up, the impetus or the reason for self-disappointment is unreasonable self-expectations. So to minimize, to eliminate self-disappointment, what is essential? Tell me what's essential. I'll tell you, what's essential is realistic expectations. Now, how do you make realistic expectations? You have to cultivate a realistic view of your circumstances. And two, you have to find out what's a balanced expectation. So once you have those two things together, you will be able to come up with a realistic self-expectation, something that you'll be able to reach, and you do your best at it. And then once you reach that level of your realistic expectation, guess what? You set the next realistic expectation, not neglecting what you've already done. Okay? And that will help you to beat out self-disappointment and feel pretty darn good about yourself. Now, let me tell you, I speak from experience. You know, when I used to have unrealistic expectations, I'm not saying high expectations, because you should have high expectations, but those high expectations should be realistic. But I used to have unrealistic expectations, and when I wouldn't reach it, woo, it would take me a while to like recover from it. Now, I'm sure you can relate, you know, but once I started having balanced expectations of Martial, then I didn't disappoint myself, you know, and it feels good. It feels wonderful. It makes me want to keep going and keep on doing what I have to do. So guys, I love you very much. I hope this video was encouraging and I hope that it helped you. Okay, if it did, please let me know. If you think about somebody that might benefit from this, share it with them, be it through Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, any means that the share button allows you to. Go for it. Go for it. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, I love you. Ci vediamo e parliamo presto e pronto. Okay. Ciao.